Welcome to Bhagwan Ki Baatein, the YouTube channel where we talk about God and only God. In the ongoing series, The Great Saints of India, we are listening to some of the episodes, some of the interesting episodes of Saint Tulsidas ji's life. And the last capsule, we learnt about how Sant Tulsidas was almost imprisoned by King Akbar of Delhi at that time, and he wouldn't let him go. He wanted him to show him the manifestation of Sri Ram, and how Sant Tulsidas invoked Lord Hanuman, and then came the army of 10,000 monkeys who literally destroyed Delhi and his palace. And then, of course, Akbar came around and bowed before Sant Tulsidas. And then it was time to leave Akbar. And he went to see and worship Shri Krishna at Mathura. At first, he came to Gokul and took a bath by the bank of Jamuna. Having seen and worshipped Shri Krishna, he departed from there. From there he came to Vrindavan. There he made an obeisance to Krishna. He remained there for a month and danced in the praise services devoted to Hari. From there he came to Mathura. He bathed by the banks of Jamuna. He saw and worshipped Shri Krishna and met there many Vaishnavas. In Mathura, Gokul and Vrindavan lived many Vaishnavas. Those who worship, now we all know who Vaishnavas are, the people who worship Vishnu as one God. They are constantly engaged in singing the praises of Hari and are always repeating his names day and night. There was a Brahmin citizen by the name of Priyadas, of supreme piety, and Vaishnav bhakti, knowledge and indifference to worldly things were his characteristics. This Priyadas wrote a book in Sanskrit describing the extraordinary deeds of bhaktas of Vishnu in this Kali Yuga. Tulsidas heard that he had written this book containing the stories of saints. So on a certain occasion, he came to visit Priyadas. He said, "Oh Swami, you have written stories of saints. I have not listened to them. Bring me the book and show it to me." Priyadas replied, "I have described the bhaktas belonging to the 4 yugas, but I have not written in this book the noble story of Tulsidas. Even the Vaishnav bhaktas of Kali Yuga were described in that book. Therefore he meant Priyadas, felt very much troubled. Just then, a very wonderful thing happened. Unknown to Priyadas, Sri Ram came there and with his own hands wrote the story of Tulsidas. In order to listen to the book, all the Vaishnavas assembled and sat in the assembly hall by the great door of the temple. Clever and wise Pandits also sat down to listen. Priyadas, the God-loving Bhakt, reading aloud from the book. All the Vaishnavas admired the book that was written by Priyadas. It was Tulsidas who said to him that it was Sri Hari who spoke through his lips. Hearing this remark made by the saint Tulsidas, Priyadas said to them, "Ram came and wrote the whole history of Tulsidas." All the noble Vaishnavas now examined the handwriting of Ram. The power of bhaktas is great. Neither Vedas nor Shastras are able to describe it. In attempting to describe the characteristics of Sri Hari, the 18 Puranas had to remain silent, and the 6 Shastras had to acknowledge that they did not understand his power. If one constantly listens to his explanation of the book with pleasure, he will certainly have a sight of Sri Ram. Thus, the beloved of Sri Ram, the full avatar of Valmiki, had his story recorded by Ram's own hand. Priyadas' first book was in Sanskrit language. After that, Nabhaji wrote in the Gwalior language. After listening to its verses, written this book in Marathi tongue, just as the milkman adds a little water to this milk. As in setting a diamond in a gold ornament, lacquer is used in the act of placing it. So this is who Tulsidas was. Can you believe that God wrote his story with his own hands? With that, we come to the end of this series on Sant Tulsidas. But having said that, At Bhagwan Ki Baatein, we assure you that we'll bring more stories about more saints, which will not only inspire you, but also plant that seed in you, which will take you to the path of devotion. With those words, we thank you very much for tuning into Bhagwan Ki Baatein, and we look forward to connecting with you once again in the next capsule, where we intend to take the story of the great Sant Namdev. Until we connect again, goodbye, good luck, and Sadar Pranam.